Welcome back, everyone, to episode number 5 of the Tricks and Traps Speedrun. So I'm coming into today rated 759. I think the goal today is to break 800, and hopefully we'll have another fun day of tricky and trappy chess. So let's hop into the first game. Okay, first opponent playing Aditya. And I have black. We have b3. I think this is the first time I'm encountering b3 in this speedrun. And white's actually employing the double Fianchetto, which could end up going into a hippo opening. I think the most aggressive response to this is h5 to try and pressure the king side right away, create tension between the pawns. I'm actually sacrificing this pawn, but it's slightly poisonous if white takes it, because I'll have... Actually, do I have queen d5, knight f3? Okay, we're going into it. For a brief moment, I thought I'm just winning a piece, but this is a little bit trickier. Queen d5, knight f3, bishop g4. I could lose another pawn. But, I mean, there should be full compensation there. All right, let's start with queen d5. Actually, queen d5, knight f3, bishop g4, there's knight c3. There's a better way to do this. Actually, I think it's still fine. I have queen e6 in that line. Yeah, let's go for queen d5. So I'm down a pawn, but position's wide open. And this is really the only move for white that doesn't lose material. And I'll play bishop g4. So knight's pinned. I'm threatening to take and then take. Yeah, initially I was a little bit scared of this move to counterattack, but I think after queen to e6, white is still having some issues. Because I'm threatening to take and win the bishop. And if the bishop moves, then the e-pawn will be pinned to the king. I'll just take on f3. So maybe the best try for white could be pawn d4. But I think even in that line, I would win material. In this line, I'll take the bishop and attack the knight. If the knight moves back, I can take it for free. And white resigns. Okay, pretty quick game. 9 moves. Definitely some moment to analyze there, though. When I played h4, I was kind of oblivious to the fact I'm losing the center pawn, but it led to very interesting compensation. Just checking with the engine here, and yeah, according to Sockfish, it's not actually that great for white to take the pawn. But apparently the best way to punish this is not queen d5, but queen e7. Just kind of engine-like. If knight f3, a bishop h3, maybe into g2. That's interesting. And if the bishop moves, I can take and take, and yeah, white's king side is a bit weak. So what happened in the game after this and this? Yeah, knight c3, queen e6. I think black is in very good shape here, because if white tries d4, then at the very least I have either f6 immediately or takes and then f6. And I'll be winning material one way or the other. Engine slightly prefers takes, and f6 wins the bishop. So, nice start to the episode, up to 772. Let's keep it going. This time I'm white. And sticking with e4, we have a Scandinavian. I'll take the pawn. Whoa. Is this some new Gambit I haven't seen before? I think that was probably a mouse slip, right? Black intended pawn c6. Okay, so I won in 3 moves. I think that's actually the quickest game of the speedrun so far. I didn't really set up any tricks apart from maybe just taking free material. Not the trickiest type of chess. But let's keep it going, up to 783. Feels like a true speedrun now. Okay, I've played the England Gambit a few times this series. I'm kind of in the mood for a Budapest Gambit. Opponent offers a draw, which, when the opponent offers a draw on their turn, I don't have to do anything. I can just wait, and their time will be ticking. Oh, opponent's playing the London opening. So, yeah, against the London, let's play the most confrontational move, pawn c5. White takes, okay, so accepting my gambit. Most players play e3 or c3. I think here, actually vaguely remember this position was seen between Aronian playing white against Kasparov in one of these St. Louis Rapid and Blitz tournaments. I remember Kasparov going for this knight a6 move. It's an interesting way to develop. And let's take over the center. Pawn d5 looks natural. I mean, probably what I'll end up doing is g6, bishop g7. I think with the knight on c5, the bishop doesn't necessarily want to develop on this diagonal. Okay, bishop d3. Yeah, g6 looks good. Playing some normal moves here, not going out of my way to be ultra aggressive. Opponent offers another draw. I could disable draw offers for this game, but I'll let my opponent's time tick. Not sure if there's like a limit to how many draw offers someone can offer in one game. Now, I should note, like, some players might not want to play me because they see it's a speedrun account, but if I win, my opponent will get a rating refund, so there's no rating lost. I was about to reflexively play a6, but it does feel a little bit slow. Maybe this is a bit more aggressive, knight h5. Although, no, I'm going to play a6. I want to expand. I might want to double Fianchetto. Sometimes when the kingside Fianchetto happens, then this bishop isn't as good developing with a pawn committed to g6. Okay, here let's expand, pawn d4. Gaining space, attacking the knight. And if knight e2, then my pawn will be attacked twice. But there will be a couple of ways to defend it. I could play knight e6. I think knight h5 looks a bit more attractive. Attacking the bishop, unleashing my bishop to defend the pawn. And also preparing e5, most likely. Queen d2. And giving me the option of taking, which I think I'll go ahead and do. Nice to get the bishop pair. Queen comes in, but now I have pawn e5. Yeah, it's a pretty solid game so far from both of us. Sometimes the nature of of the London opening, I tried to be aggressive from early on, and I'm getting getting a nice middle game position. Hopefully I can start generating some tactics soon. Queen b6 comes to mind. I could throw in b5 first, could develop the bishop. Let's play queen b6. Just apply pressure. If b4, then maybe there's potential to hop into a4. I could also consider taking. Pawn takes. I really want to steer the game into more tactical territory. So yeah, I'm going to go for knight a4. Some weaknesses in white's queen side. And now it's important to note in such a position, okay, I think that's a free knight. I was going to say that there's one open file and it should be the plan to control the file, maybe invade the square, but my opponent just decided to give me some free material, which I do not turn down. And now with the bishop more directly supporting this pawn, it actually creates a battery to support c3. So I'm probably ready to play knight c3 and maybe target this pawn. Okay, bishop to e6. I'll offer a trade. Yeah, just completing development, getting ready to bring in the other rook. And here I could play knight c3. Could take first. But knight c3 looks good. So obstructing the queen from defending b4. And there are some potential tactics here. Like if white goes for f4, which maybe looks natural, I have knight takes e2, followed by d3 with a discover check. Even d3 immediately can probably work. There are some cases where d3 is a double discovery, but queen d3 blockades the pawn completely. If I take, the rook will take. Okay, I'll keep the tension. And there's bishop tension, there's knight tension. And sometimes instead of relieving the tension and just going for trades, it can be good to keep all the tension and just keep improving. Here white is leaving more free material up for grabs. I mean, I could take this pawn too. Yeah, let's go ahead and take this pawn. Probably pretty soon I'll start looking to trade. Like take on e2, maybe also b3, and then invade with rook c3. Okay, knight f4. So is it time to start trading? Again, I want to set up tricks and traps, but sometimes you have to do what the position calls for. H3 is now defended. Okay, I'll take on b3. Now there's actually a nice way, probably not necessary, but a cute little move to win another pawn. The rook on a1 was overworked defending e1 and a2. But now if rook takes a2, I take on e1. I'll probably just look to move the knight back and then win another pawn. There's also potential tactics. If queen takes d4, I'll have knight e2 with a fork. I'm also attacking this, and now even this because the queen's cut off. So let's keep winning material. Oh no, my pawn. Again, queen d4, get the triple fork this time. So had to be patient, but eventually the ultimate trap happens. And okay, that's another win. 27 moves. Yeah, more of a strategic game to, at least with the opening. in this one. Sometimes against a London, it can be hard to be like ultra aggressive from early on. But got some nice development, got some good center too. Just checking with the engine to see if anything better was missed. Prefers 94, which, yeah, maybe a bit more direct in the center. Oh, I could have taken. For some reason, I just thought this trades a bunch. But after takes and takes and takes and takes and takes, there's the B2 pawn hanging. So I guess I could have traded a lot to win a pawn. Yeah, that was probably the best line. D4, not the best move. But eventually I still got a nice position. And then, yeah, knight takes e5 was the first big blunder of the game for white. Okay, let's keep it going. Up to 795. Playing Jovio. And I'll play King's Pawn. Now, so far this series, I've been playing a lot of Stafford Gambit repertoire. I'm going to play a Latvian Gambit. There was one comment on the previous episode of someone wanting to see a Latvian in this series. And it's not an opening I've played too much or studied too much. But I actually checked some lines like right before recording. And this is one of the lines I checked. And I think the main move here is Queen f6. But there is an interesting line to play Knight c6. And this is somewhat of a hybrid of a Latvian and a Stafford. But there's a very, very sharp variation which stems from Queen h5. Unfortunately, we're not going to go into. And white is maybe trying to be solid now. So let's develop. This feels like a Stafford Gambit, but my pawn's on f5 rather than my knight on f6. So it might lead to some differences. Hopefully it can still lead to some fun, aggressive attacks. Actually realizing I'm not really threatening to take because there's Queen h5 hitting my king and bishop. I would really love to take, and if takes I win the queen. But this is just not a good move. I don't think I can take that risk. Take, check here. I'm looking for ways to make this work somehow. But yeah, I'm going to just play this move. Okay, now I'm kind of wondering if I play knight e4, takes, and then takes, but then king e2. Okay, so let's play knight g4. I think this is more controlled. Yeah, it's a very weird position, like very much a hybrid of a Latvian and Stafford Gambit. But it's looking good already. Can take the pawn either with bishop or knight. I could also take on e5. Taking on e5 might even be more attractive to open the e-file. But this, of course, takes away white's castling rights. Yeah, I think it's better to take on f2 with the bishop. Keeping initiative. King moves. Now I think I just retreat the bishop. The knight's tied down, so I could play bishop d4 or bishop b6. Let's play bishop b6. Getting completely out of the way. There might be scenarios where my queen wants to come to d4. Now I can take on e5. And now, even though I was the one who gambited, I'm the one who's up a pawn now. That's a very good looking position. Keeping the attack against the queen. play queen e7. Setting up some discoveries. Ooh. Some counterattack. Yeah, I really wanted to play knight g4. Knight g4 would be a queen trade because takes and takes. Anything better though? Queen e6 perhaps. Calculating queen e6, queen g7. And that should be fine. Yeah, avoiding the queen trade. And there's still some knight f7 or knight g4 in the air. If white sees a danger, they might play king d1. King d2 would walk into knight f3 check. King d1 is probably the best move for white. But we see king d2, so now knight f3 comes with check, and yeah, white has two legal moves, one of which gets mated instantly. If king c1, it's not force mate. Yeah, actually white is maybe surviving here. Queen e1, knight d1. And the bishop and queen actually do a nice job of defending on the diagonal. So I think this is actually a very instructive situation where a lot of players would just go for this, where it looks very good. I invade, I force knight to d1. But I think the best course of action is to not allow white to play this move because it covers e3. And first just take the bishop, because after queen takes then I win the queen. And this is just more clean. I'll check afterwards if there is anything clear after queen e1. But now I'm cooking. Mate next move. Okay. So a nice success for a small opening experiment on my part. This, what does chess.com call this? The Latvian Gambit Fraser defense. Latvian accepted Fraser defense. Yeah, the main line, just to show, maybe if I play this again in the speedrun, we'll get queen h5. And the idea is to play g6, allow knight takes g6, and it looks really bad for black at first. According to the engine, it is objectively bad, about +2 in white's favor. But the position gets very, very messy after knight f6. Attacking the queen, white has no time for any discovery or taking the rook. White would have to move the queen to keep the pin. And then there's rook g8 here. And there's a lot of chaos that can happen from this position. The critical line is knight takes f8 and rook g4, hitting this and this. And white is objectively better, but it's definitely a fun variation to explore. And not all humans will play perfectly from here. So anyway, that was my bit of opening prep within the Latvian. Of course, my opponent took on c6. This is still objectively better for white. And actually a big difference between this and the Stafford is with the pawn on f5, black is a bit slower to actually do any damage. And the move that I wanted to play, pawn takes pawn, runs into this, and black loses material. So, yeah, knight f6. But yeah, after e5, I got a winning position. Knight g4 is very, very difficult for white to deal with. And yeah, all of this was nice. Let's check this final moment. Yeah, king d2 is maybe white's final mistake. King d1 should have been played. And black's still doing well here. I'm not sure what I would have done. Like knight f3 looks attractive, but then there's bishop e2. But maybe I can still trade and just, yeah, get my bishop in, eventually castle. Yeah, after king d2. knight takes g5 is the best move. If I play this and this, I don't actually have the same tactic because knight helps cover e3, and there's just queen takes e3. And after it takes, knight is no longer pinned. So I'm happy I avoided this line, even though it's still better for black. Best continuation would have been to take and castle, but yeah, managed to be a bit more efficient in the game. So made it to 807, broke 800. I think this is a good place to end the episode. So thanks everyone for watching. If you have questions, leave them below. If you like the content, hit like and subscribe. It does help the channel, and I'll see you guys soon.